think Bango is an incredibly interesting platform that connects web scales and online merchants with telcos. And you may think that doesn't sound like an obvious business, but it's an incredibly important business because you've got people with content and you've got people with a billing relationship, and you need to bring those things together, and that's what Bango does. And that's very exciting. In fact, it's increasing in demand from consumers that they could easily buy things and have it appear on the one bill they already pay, which is their mobile telephone subscription bill.
We have this sort of big idea we've always had of if we can build a platform where we can collect information that no merchant can see on their own, we can help mobile commerce get a bit better. So in the early days, it was all around if we're collecting payments, we can figure out how the users are paying and make the payment methods available to the merchants so they can have a smoother payment experience. And then over the years, we started to realize that there's a lot more we can do if we can see what's going on. So we can see more than, for example, we can see different things than Google or Amazon can see because we see what goes on across different merchants. And over the last few years, one of the angles that's come is this idea that if we can bring people together and actually help them not only make the users' experiences better, we can also help marketing be more relevant to users. So that as users are choosing to buy things, they're not bugged by marketing for things they're never going to buy, and they're not using payment methods they can never pay with, but we can help them actually make their payment choices more easily. So Bango technology can move into being a technology behind every payment choice.
So we're here today to tell everybody about the strategy and some of the developments that have happened over the past few years, which we see that strategy now really starting to deliver growth. The payments business historically grown at around 50% a year. We've traditionally taken market share and grown our market share in that business back from around sort of sub 2% in 2016 to around 10% in the current market. And that's a business that will continue to grow. But it now has two businesses that sort of sit on top of their incremental revenue for Bango. The first being the resale and bundling platform business. That's very much more of a SaaS model, where telcos look to deploy the Bango platform to bundle multiple third-party services together and take advantage of the data power within the platform to intelligently combine those services in a way that delivers growth and reduces churn for their subscribers. And on top of that, we have an incredibly exciting Bango Marketplace. Gone through great growth so far this year, and a business that was only launched back in 2020 and really is well positioned to become a really high growth driver for Bango moving forward. App stores are very, very crowded. Anybody ideas how many apps do you think in the App Store? Any guesses? It's going to be like that, is it? It's always tough early on, I know. Hopefully you'll warm up as we go. But there's about 4 million, no matter which one you're in, no matter which is your favorite, there's about 4 million-ish. So how many do you think you have on your phone? So you probably have around 80. So the number you use regularly is around 9. So if you're an app developer, you want to be one of the 9, right? You want to be one of the 9 most regularly used because that's when people are making purchases and generating revenue. And what we see across all of the app developers is that the top 5% of users generate 80% of the revenue. And we know exactly who that 5% are. So if you're launching a new strategy game in Taiwan, we know the 5% of users that are going to make those purchases in your strategy game in Taiwan, for example. If you go back sort of 20 years ago, Google for the very first time allowed marketing to be targeted based on what people had typed into a search bar. So you typed in Pokecoins or Clash of Clans or whatever in a search bar, people could use that and target you with marketing based on what you've searched for. 10 years after that, Facebook took that to the next level and said, well, we can go one step further. We can target based on what you've clicked you like in your social media, or maybe even what your friends have clicked that they've liked. And if you look at what we're doing with purchase behavior targeting at Bango, we're allowing you to target our marketing based on what people actually pay for. And that's incredibly valuable because of that problem we've just discussed. It's a crowded app store, 80% of the revenue from that sort of 5% of the users. For a number of years now, we've been connecting merchants who have goods to sell, connecting them with paying users via something we call a payment provider, which is someone who has a bill on which we can place that charge. So it could be a mobile operator, Could be your fixed broadband bill, could be your cable bill, doesn't really matter, but we're connecting that merchant to a paying user via somebody who has a bill on which we can place that charge. And that's generated now billions of dollars worth of transactions through the platform that gives us this really valuable pool of data that we can use to help the marketing companies better target their marketing to find those paying users. When they find those paying users, we process more payments, so we get more payment data. That allows us to generate better insights to help the marketing companies be even more successful.
I think the SaaS model is really exciting. I think with the end user spend continuing to rise, I think over time it helps the business to form a much more stable income. And over time that will certainly show some benefits for shareholders and long-term performance of the shares and its share price.
We've had some very strong top-line growth from our revenues. That's coming from all areas of the business. So the standard payments business is continuing to build, giving us greater growth there. But it's also been combined with increases in our resale business. The platform licensing business is also seeing a really good start with wins with Verizon and BT later on last year. Plus on top of that, our marketplace business is also starting to grow. All of those have been done at a really good margin, over 95%, and that gives us some really good bottom line profitability as that top line revenue flows through to the bottom.
In the payment side of the business, there's a really clearly defined trend now for content publishers, major brands in particular, to really want to forge their own path. So for the past 10 years, the app stores, which emerged out of smartphones, have controlled the channel to the consumer. And what the big brands really want to do is they want to control the channel directly to their customers. They've got the brand power, they've got the distribution capabilities, they want to build their own partnerships, they want to market and monetize directly. And of course, Bango's technology is perfect for major global merchants that want to be able to market effectively and then monetize their customer base directly. So that's a key trend. The second trend is after an astonishing period of 15, 20 years of growth of digital marketing, online advertising, social media marketing, those kinds of things. We're at a real crossroads in that business now where things like cookie-based tracking are under increasing scrutiny. It's really difficult now as brands think about the future to rely on technologies like that. So Bango's introduction of this idea of purchase behaviour targeting, where you don't rely on personal characteristics, you don't rely on tracking people using things like cookie technology. Instead, you really look at what people want to spend their money on, whoever they are, and you target marketing at people's willingness to spend money on those products or services. That now has the opportunity to come in and fill the void where these old first-generation digital marketing technologies are now under pressure and are starting to become less dependable and less reliable.
Go back to sort of 2019 and before, we were very much that transactional business, charging that percentage of end user spend. Great growth, this 52% growth, set to continue into the future. We now start to overlay that with the platform business, which will start to become meaningful, especially from sort of 2022, 23 onwards. And on top of that, the growth we're seeing in Bango Marketplace as we expand outside of just that 6 in the top 500 that are spending 100K, get it to 10, get it to 20, get it to 50, get it to 100. Very, very possible and very doable. And you can see very quickly how we can go from this journey of the single digits of millions of dollars we were on sort of 3 or 4 years ago to the tens of millions that we're on today as the green and blue slivers are starting to arrive. Very easily, can take us to hundreds of millions of revenue. Because these are all incremental. It's not like one replaces the other. These build on top of each other. The power of that platform being in the right place at the right time means the next 3 to 5 years look to be extremely exciting. And for those of you who are existing shareholders, then we thank you for your support and look forward for your continued support over the next 5 years. And for those of you yet to join, then there will never be a better time to join. So now's a good time to join. But thank you very much.